Hey everybody and welcome! Today I've got the Fanshobby MB29 Blaster team. Their take on the Armada Requiem Blaster. And here is the box. It is the blister package like they did for the others. Nothing crazy, nothing special. Shows you how to combine them. All that good stuff. He does have a firing function. There's that. You don't get anything but the instructions. And let's take a look at them. So you got Astroscope, the satellite, and yeah, spring-loaded function, cause why not? And then he's got some nice paint apps up here, some paint apps here and here, a little bit around on the head area, and that's really it. Other than that, it's all molded plastic, but he's got some good detail where there is. You can rotate the satellite dishes or silver panels and, move them around a little bit as you want. But that's really all there is to this guy. So let's take a look at payload next. And again, nice little paint apps going on up there. All the wheels do roll. You can see a little visible head on the bottom there. A little bit of paint on the back. And for this, you can have it facing backwards, or if you want, you can flip it around and have it tabbed into the front there. It's got two tabs that'll go into two slots in the thighs. I've seen pictures showing it both ways, so it seems like it's really a preference thing. And that will be the handle for the blaster mode, so we'll come back to that. So, looks pretty good. The legs don't compress or anything, like this is it, this is what you get. And because of his design, you got the waist swivel, you got the knee joints, you got the thigh joints, hip joints, and the arms here don't tab into anything. They just kind of rest in place. So it's really easy to like knock him out of alignment, and then he won't sit straight, and you got to kind of, massage him a little and fiddle with him just a little bit to get him to sit. And he moves, he kind of rolls, doesn't roll that well, but some of the wheels roll, some of them don't. So there's that. And then Sky Blast, little rocket ship. Again, some decent detail, some silver detail paint there. This gray, I believe, is molded. You got some gold paint. As usual with these teams, not a whole lot of paint, but they are at least a solid plastic, as opposed to the clear plastic they gave us for the Saber team. I know a lot of people will be happy about that. I don't really care too much, one way or the other. I don't, I'm sorry. Clear plastic, solid plastic, whatever. All my old toys that I still have, it's none of the clear plastic that's broken. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that. But there you go, there's the team, and they are sufficiently small, as we would expect from what is basically a mini-con team. So let's bring in the Shield team, so you can see some size comparisons here, and get them all on screen here, actually. There we go, kind of, sort of. There, that's better, look at that. So, payload here. He is, okay, about as long as Swindle. I forget his name. So, a little bit longer than him, or shorter than him. And these guys, they're good size. They do, of course, also, I didn't show that, they do have their little ports so that you can plug into the bigger bots. But there's with the Shield team. And, all three teams together, they do look good. Here is Powerlink's Jolt from the Legacy Evolution Hotshot. So you can see that's how that size is doing. A little bit bigger than that. And that's about all I'm going to do for their alt mode size comparisons. They're mini cons. You pretty much know what to expect. They're going to be tiny. So let's get down to transformation here. We'll do payload first. All of these guys are super easy, if you didn't know. And you don't really need a spudger for any of them. So you just split the truck cab, and that's it. That's his feet. You don't need to rotate. You don't need to fold. That's it. Then we're going to rotate at the waist. We'll bring his arms down. They do have an elbow bend. We'll go over that in a minute, but there's that. Then the red piece, you just untab it, because it's got these two tiny tabs that go into little cutouts. There you go, you can see those. Little cutouts in the black piece. But this, you just bring it down, make it, down there. And then this piece, fold it down, and then push it in on the slider. And that's it. That is Payload in his bot mode. We'll get a closer look at him in just a minute. Let's get the other guys. We'll do Skyblast next. And let's see. Well, go ahead and pull his head out. Peekaboo. Bring his legs down. Give them a rotate. We'll rotate his arm. Bring that down. Rotate this arm. And bring that down. And there is Skyblast in his bot mode. And lastly, and I'm choosing to do this guy lastly because he has balance problems, astroscope. And you just close up the satellite dishes. They actually get a nice little bit of a tab in that the tab and slot thing going on there. Alright, so you got that. Then we're going to bring this down and this down. We're going to bring the head up, and then you're going to close these two halves together. And then you can bring the shoulder down on this side, bring the shoulder down on that side, and that is it. You have astroscope. There we go. All right. So let's get a good look at these guys. So here you go. We already saw pretty much all the paint details. The only thing we didn't see was this little bit of purple on him before, but now we can see it. There we go. Sorry, had to adjust my light. So he does have head rotation, 360. He has shoulder rotate, and it'll go up to there for transformation. He does not have any kind of a bicep rotate, but he does have a full elbow bend. We can go kind of backwards just a little bit. And then over here, it'll go up to there with the missile installed. Of course, if you were to take the missile out, it'll go up further. And then this one will also do a full spin. He does have a waist rotate. And then his legs will go out to there, back to there, and ball joints, they'll go to there because there is some collision, but they are ball joints. They probably could go a little further. Yeah, it's a matter of clearance. So there's that. And then the knees do a full 90. And that is it. And then for him, his balance, because this is actually spring loaded and it's got all of his weight is right here pretty much in this blaster. So you really got to be careful with how you pose him. I've not really tried any dynamic poses yet. Because, I mean, you just... Come on, little buddy. Ah, there. Alright. There we go. Alright, and we'll do Payload next. And there is that face sculpt. He's got a bit of a Gur face going on. Other than that, not many details that we didn't already see in the truck mode. His head will do a 360. Elbows are on a very small ball joint, so they'll do a 360, and they'll have, a little bit of forward and back and a little bit of up, but that's all the up you're getting. It's a ball joint, so you can't really get any up. And then his elbows will do 90 degrees. Pretty basic on this guy. He'll do a waist rotate. Now the red piece, the handle for the combined gun, is in the way. It will do a 360, but you got to move that handle. So, and you can bring it up behind the head. It'll just look like that. But doing it that way does give you full motion, range of motion. And that piece will also get in the way of the thighs, which go out to there, back to there, only out to there, and then a full 90. So, there you go. I'll go ahead and keep that up there, just for argument's sake. And there we go. And then Sky Blast. And there's his close-up. Got a little bit of an open mouth. He does have a head rotate. Because the head slides up and down for transformation, it is a little bit of a down and a little bit of an up. Just because you're kind of rocking it in that slide mechanism, I don't think it's actually like considered a head tilt, but it's there. You can use it. Both the arms, the shoulders will do a 360. This arm will go all the way up to there. And then the elbow will do 90. This arm, it'll do the 360. You've got this little like tab. It kind of collides as you go around, but you can just push it past. It's just a thoop that goes into this piece. And it'll go out to there, but you have to have this piece straight. It kind of limits its range. And then when you bring the arm down, 90-degree bend. And then, now this is a weird thing for him. He does have a waist rotate. It's right there, it'll do 360. That's all well and good. But his legs, look at that. So they'll go up to there, and they'll go back to there, and they've got a thigh swivel. All right, that's all well and good, but the knee bend, that's all you get. Because you see this back piece collides. And the way that they have it set up, where this back piece is, you know, can bend forward, which completely locks the knee, you can't get that out of the way. There's no swivel or anything for this. These two engines are stuck together. There's, you know, nothing you can do. So, not like, it's like it wants to go further, but it just can't because of the back engine. So, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but it could be better. Oh well, right? And we will go ahead and do a couple of robot mode size comparisons. First of all, here is the Shield Team robots. So there is 1, 2, and 3. So you can see they are a little bit shorter. And we'll go ahead and do a couple of robot mode size comparisons. Here is the Shield Team. Yep. Come on, stand up. Okay, there you go with your big parachute pants. There we go. So you can see how they stack up. Payload is definitely the shortest of the 6. He is the second tallest right behind him, and then he is also about the same height as Payload. So there's how they stack up. And then here is that Power Lynx Jolt. Again, he is roughly the same size as these two guys. And here is Fans Toys Fracas from Scourge. They're the Target Master for Scourge. So, just to see how a Masterpiece style little guy looks. So, and last one I'll do is the Legacy Armada Optimus Prime. Just because why not? You can see they don't even come up to his knee, which I would expect being that they are minicons. So, there is that. And now, of course, the main reason that I got these guys, well, kind of, is their blaster mode. So, first of all, I'm going to put them back into their vehicle modes, which of course is super easy, so that's why I'm not going to worry about editing it or anything. Boom, there's one. And you do have two different options for the astroscope, as well as for the handle that payload has, and I will make sure to show you both options. Actually, while I'm transforming him, I'll go ahead and do one option right now. So you need to start in vehicle mode and flip the handle out, which you got to push it through. There we go. So I'll show you one option here. In his thighs, you got some tiny, tiny little slots for these tiny, tiny little tabs, and you just straighten everything out, clip that in, bring this up, clip it in. There we go. And the handle sticks out. And that will be one option, and we'll come right back to that after we get astroscope transformed. So just pull his two halves apart, bring the head back, missile up first. If you don't have the missile in, then it doesn't matter which side you do first, but the missile does sit in that groove. And then just split his legs apart. And there we go. Now, there we go, kind of get a little bit of space there. So, we've got him in truck mode. We're going to start with him. We got the handle where it needs to be. We're going to come to this guy. We're going to fold that in because for some reason it's supposed to be. And you've got 3 pegs that are going to go into 3 ports. And the way that this is going to go, you've got the 2 small ports here and here. That's pretty obvious. But the third port, this one, actually has a notch taken out of it. You can barely see it next to my thumbnail. Right? There's a little notch taken out. Well, that is actually for this, which you can barely see on screen. That's a little notch it has. And that's for how that's going to sit. So the back 2 are really doing most of the grip, and then this front one is helping a little bit. But, see, it just sits like that, and then back here you've got this little port for that post, and you just bend at the knees, get that tabbed in, and there you go. And then it does tab in pretty well, but I generally have to fix this one after I've gotten the rest tabbed in, just because of the pressure I put on it. But there's that. And then to get this guy in, it's actually really, really easy. So we're going to bend the fist just 90 degrees. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my words there. And we're going to close up the legs, snap them together. And then the fist, it's got this little groove channel, and that is going to fit just like that. And yeah, you have 2 options for the handles, and you have 2 options for what to do with his legs. This is option 1 for the legs, or you can rotate it 90 degrees and spread them a little bit and make a kickstand. Such an amazing difference. I'm definitely being sarcastic. Also, if you don't like this sticking out, you can just bend it up 90 degrees and it's, then it looks like that. So you have that option there. I'll just leave it down because that's how they want you to do it. But there you go, and of course you can still access the firing mechanism if that pleases you. It does have a tab, as firing mechanisms usually do. But there you go. That is the Requiem Blaster, and it holds together pretty well. It holds together better than the Shield team did. Back here, this is all very secure because you got pins going up here and going back there. And this, it just slides in, but it's a good groove, so you can't pull it out. You can slide it apart, but that's an axis of motion, the sliding it sideways, that you're not normally going to do as you're trying to get this on a figure and pose it. So, works out pretty well. The only thing is, he does have multiple joints for his robot mode, so you just got to make sure you keep those all straight. They kind of very loosely thoop into place, but it's nothing super tight. So it makes transformation really easy and posing easy, the ones that are for posing, but for this mode, you just got to make sure those all stay straight. This has a tiny little bit of a bend, but we kind of have it locked out because we're using that. But there's that. So he does look good. I like it. And then the other handle option, you just untab it from the thighs and bring it up here. But before I show you that, here is the Legacy Optimus. Let me make sure we get him in camera. So I don't have any Fanshobby offerings for their bigger bots. I've only got the 3 Headmaster Juniors and the Minicon teams. And, well, actually I do have Robots in Disguise Scourge, but Scourge is from a different show, so we won't worry about it. They do have the T-handle type fitting, so they can slide down into all the Fanshobby figures. And then, of course, this is a 5mm port like the other 2 teams, so can get that in there. I've got the DNA upgrade kit on this Optimus, so he's got the better hands, but first of all, there you go. The handle is in nice and tight, but it's just a friction joint, and there's nothing locking it. So yeah, and with the DNA upgrade kit, that here, I'll hold the hand steady so you know this is definitely not the fingers or that little adapter coming loose that comes in the upgrade kit. That's the friction joint for the handle. So I mean, it works, but it's not very secure. Now the other way, you do have to kind of disassemble payload here because you got to split the thighs. If you really wanted, you can just wrench this out, but you stand a chance of damaging these tabs. I would not recommend that. But just take it out, and you can close this back up once you get it aligned. There we go. Make sure everything is tabbed in, fold it back up, and get that in place. Yep, there we go. And then for this, we're going to bring it down and bend it the other direction. And see, now it tabs in. It actually has a positive lock on this. And then it's these 2 red tabs. They go into the same place they were in truck mode if you have it on the back of the truck. So you just... Alright, and get that lined up. Make sure everything is back how it should be. It is. And... okay, so that's the other mode. And doing it this way... of course, the weight distribution for the blaster itself is much better. The only thing is, it does have that overhang. So depending on which figure... the adapter came out. The adapter for my DNA kit does not hold in super secure, so I'm just going to hold his fingers. The blaster itself, like you can see that joint. That's pretty locked in. It's pretty secure. Depending on the figure that you have holding him, this overhang may get in the way of elbow bend. It's perfectly fine here. And knowing that the Fanshobby Armada Optimus and Armada Megatron Galvatron are bigger, I'm sure they have better clearance here, so I'm sure they're going to hold this guy perfectly fine as well. So, but there you go. This Optimus does have the ratchets in the elbows, so he can hold it up perfectly fine. I know the Legacy Armada Megatron and Galvatron do not have strong enough elbows to hold this guy. It's not that it's that heavy, it's just little minicons, but it is long, and that's the problem. It's basically just leverage. Yeah, you see that little DNA adapter came out. It is what it is. I don't want to glue it in, because the whole point I got the upgrade kit was to have better hands, but yeah, that could have been better. So my final thoughts on the Fanshobby MB29 Blaster team. Overall, I do like them. They are probably my favorite out of the set. We do have pretty good articulation, especially compared to the other 2 Minicon teams. You know, a little bit of limitations, like Skyblast's knees because of his rear set of engines, and Astro Scope's right arm having a lot of weight to it, so that can throw off his balance. But you can see I got him in a decently dynamic pose right there, and you know, that works. And You know, he's ready to fire his gun and everything, right? One thing that could have helped Astroscope, that left hand of his, I think if they made that hand out of diecast, that would have given him a good weight balance. And then you could give him just a regular standing pose or anything else, and it would have worked out pretty well. I do like that in the combined mode, first of all, they tab together pretty well. They're a little bit more secure than the Shield team, how, you know, the guy, I think his name was Swindle, the F1 car. His head kept untabbing from inside Dirt Boss, so, you know, you just keep falling off. So I think these guys do work together in combined mode pretty well. I'm glad that the legs of Astroscope, you can have it sideways if you want a bipod setup, or you can have it in line with the rifle if you want it to basically look like a magazine. So you've got two different looks going on there, and then the handle that comes on payload, the one way, it's got that locking tab, and it's pretty secure, and it's pretty good. It's got the overhang, but I think it works, especially for the particular figures that I have, the Legacy Prime, and if I use both hands, Galvatron's both hands, then my Legacy Galvatron can hold them. If you put it in the other mode, the handle, there's no locking tab, and that's a negative. Why? Because then nobody can hold it unless you're going to give them two hands or put them down in some kind of like prone position where they're using the bipod, you know, as if they're trying to snipe somebody, which is a cool idea, but you know, it's a shame that you really can't use the handle in that farthest back position without some kind of support, because it's just friction, and the weight of the whole rifle just really overpowers that friction joint, no problem whatsoever. So the molded details are pretty good, the painted details are pretty good, paint is applied well from what I've seen, just in keeping with Fanshobby. I've not seen any issues with their paint application so far, and the figures I do have of theirs, so, you know, I'm definitely pleased with the quality of it. The plastic feels good. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy or like it's going to break on you or anything like that. It is all solid colored plastic, so you don't have to worry about all the clear plastic. For those of you who are super concerned about the Saber team, this is in the same field as the Shield team, where it's all solid plastic, and it feels really good. Doesn't feel like anything's going to break as you're transforming or combining or articulating them. Even all the ball joints, none of them have popped off on me, which is nice. They are just ball joints, so if they do, it's not a big deal, but it's still nice that it's built well enough that they're not popping off on me. So overall, like I said, I'd give them a recommendation. If you're looking for the team, if you love the Armada show, if you just like collecting Fanshobby stuff, you like having the little guys sometimes, they're a great little squad. And I'm really pleased that not only did I pick them up, but now I finally have all three teams from the Armada show, and one of the three shows that I grew up with. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. See you.